Good morning, Abraham. It's a pleasure to be here. I'd like to know what exactly is the Holy Spirit. I believe I've experienced it before, but I want to be sure about what it is.
Well, the reason it's a little hard to define, in other words, we could talk to 1,000 people who, like you, believe they have experienced it. And we would hear 1,000 different variations on what that means. Because what it literally is whatever you allow your connection to that source energy to be. In other words, some people, when they receive what they would call the Holy Spirit, or what some would call it, roll around on the floor out of control. Some allow the energy to flow through and dance a beautiful dance, or play a precise game of basketball, or perform a surgery of such precision that a sort of miracle takes place. In other words, when humans experience it purely, it is their purpose being fulfilled by source, which means they are not out of alignment with their own purpose. And that's why it takes on so many different faces. And whether you call it Holy Spirit, whether you call it God, whether you call it source, whether you call it inner being, it is not important. It only matters what you mean by it, you see. And so you do it all the time. Why is this something that we are even talking about? You speak about it as if it is some future event rather than as something that happens every day.
I would like for you to help me this morning with aligning with my desires to take my business to a new level. For me, at this present moment, it's about aligning with ease on a consistent basis in whatever I desire at that moment to do.
We love hearing your profound and perfect words, because you just said in wonderful words what we just said in wonderful words. It's an emotional journey, isn't it? So where do you think you are? In other words, when you think in terms of emotions and you think in terms of wanting to take your business to the next level, what's the emotional word that you would describe where you are? Financially, you could say, I'm at $100,000 a year and I want to be at $1 million a year. Or I'm at $20,000 a year and I want to be at $100,000 a year. But that's irrelevant. What is relevant is I'm at frustration and I want to be at ease, or I am at worry and I want to be at ease. So along this emotional scale, and we want to talk about this just a little bit here. We haven't done it here today, but your emotions follow this range, and there are a lot of words that describe emotion, but every word and every feeling of emotion goes somewhere between this feeling of elated empowerment and this feeling of suffocating disempowerment. In other words, it's about freedom and not freedom, isn't it? It's about the freedom to be who I really am and feel it and know it, and not knowing who I really am and not feeling it. And so whether you call it despair, or whether you call it anger or rage, or whether you call it guilt or fear or blame, or whether you call it overwhelmment or frustration, or whether you call it doubt or disappointment or belief or pessimism or hopefulness or optimism or appreciation or love or joy, or it doesn't matter what you call it. And there are many, many, many more words than those that talk about this emotional spectrum. When it comes right down to it, there is feeling really free and knowing that all is well and adoring me, and there is feeling unworthy and feeling not free to be or do or have whatever I'm wanting. And since you come forth from source energy, powerful, creative beings, knowing that you are free when you find thoughts that feel not so free, no matter where you get them, whether you learn them from your mother, whether you learn them from somebody that you go to school with, whether you learn them from a combination of a whole lot of people who have come to believe them before you were even born, doesn't matter where you pick them up. When you pick them up, you feel by the way they settle into you, whether they are allowing or resisting your connection to who you really are. So we think both of your questions are about the same thing, both statements that you've made. You say, I want to align with the Holy Spirit, which is your way of saying, I want to open up and allow myself to be an extension of that source energy. And that really, the only place that freedom will ever be found is in that alignment, you see. No one will ever be free when they're beating the drum of something that keeps them out of alignment with that feeling. So freedom is an emotional journey, isn't it? Ease as an emotional journey. So most people who sit here do what you did. You say, I'm wanting to connect with the Holy Spirit so that the Holy Spirit can show me the way to get to the financial freedom that I want. Right. And we say, oh, the detours involved in that sort of a journey. It's so much easier to just say, Holy Spirit or source or inner being or whatever you're wanting to call it, help me to feel what I expect to feel once I've achieved the financial freedom. In other words, it's the feeling I'm going for. And when you go for the feeling rather than the process that takes you to the action that takes you to the manifestation, now it's something that you can do fast. And when you do that, then circumstances and events align to help you with the manifestation. And then the unfolding of the manifestation is delicious, you see. It's a big jump. It's a big difference, a big jump between allowing the universe to yield to you and demanding of yourself that you jump through the right hoops in order to earn. So that word earn is interesting. It's settled into a lot of you in different ways. How do you feel about earning? Earning. Earning doesn't feel very good, does it? Earning sounds like somebody else holds the strings. Somebody else gets to decide whether I have jumped through the hoops in the right way. Earning and allowing are not the same thing, are they? Earning is about action, and allowing is about the emotional journey. So, how do I talk myself in to allowing good stuff to flow to me? Well, people talk about the worthiness all the time, and so much so that you don't even want to talk about it. Worthiness is something, oh, I feel worthy enough, you say. All right, already, I'm worthy. And we say, you show yourself when you are ready to allow good stuff to flow to you, when you stop worrying about every little thing. When you are really at ease no matter what, you've made it there. As long as you're worrying about what you're doing or worrying if it's the right thing or worrying what somebody else thinks about it, then you're not in that vibrational place of allowing. As long as some sort of action, now hear it, we're going to give this to you. When you believe that you need to do something differently than you are doing, then you're not feeling worthy. I should work harder. I should work smarter. Not worthy. I should have done that. I should do this. Not worthy. In other words, when you are ready to say, here I be, period. Give me the good stuff. And you've erased all those records playing with, well, nothing ever comes easy, or you have to be in the right place at the right time, or you have to have done the things that make the Holy Spirit love you. You can't have broken those rules. You can't even think about breaking those rules, let alone breaking those rules. You can't even think about breaking those rules. In other words, there are lists and lists and lists and lists that have been offered to our dear human friends by other dear human friends in an effort to help you to earn the well-being that is your birthright. And we would like so much to help you get back to that place where you just say, here I be, let it flow. And someone says to you, well, what are you doing to deserve it? And you say, absolutely nothing. It's just the way it is supposed to be. It's supposed to be this way. But now, you can't be there if you are demanding it, or you can't be there if you are feeling guilty about it coming. What happens is when you feel like somebody else needs to do something in order to change the way you are so that you can feel differently, there's no freedom in that. You've got to show yourself that you can feel differently if not one other being anywhere does anything differently. In other words, true freedom comes in understanding you can adjust the way you feel without any circumstances changing. That's what the art of allowing really is. And that's what getting in connection with this Holy Spirit that you're talking about really is. When you say, freedom is over there and I'm over here and I've got to get over there before I will get free, you're stuck where you are. You've got to stop saying there is no freedom here, or you can't get over there where there is more freedom. So you have to start looking at the positive aspects where you are rather than diminishing in other words, what's happening is you are wanting so hard to sell what's over there that you are shooting yourself in the foot by talking about how bad what's over here is. And you're not alone in that. A lot of people do it. What you have to start doing is looking for the positive aspects of where you are. And as you find one little glimmer of something that makes you feel better where you are, your vibration will shift and then you can move just a little bit. We don't want you to ever worry about the realness of that which is here, but we don't want the realness of that which is here to limit you and make you think that that's all that is real. In other words, in this world that you call physical, that is occupied by a few billion human ones, is as many worlds as there are perceivers of it. In other words, it is what is real is as you perceive it to be. Sometimes in your dream state, especially when you have achieved vibrational alignment with who you really are before you slumber, you don the perspective of your inner being, and your inner being then reflects what you are seeing. Now, let's start again. A dream is your reemergence back into non-physical, achieving vibrational alignment with who you are then. And then as you come back into your wake state, the entire dream actually takes place as that which you know from non-physical is translated back into a physical equivalent that you can make sense of. When you find vibrational alignment with who you really are, you can catch a glimpse of whatever your inner being is glimpsing at. That's what Esther is doing here. Esther, by virtue of her meditation process and by virtue of her willingness to stand here as the receiver of Abraham, Esther has put herself in a vibrational place where she is allowing broader perspective to pour.